wealth of the nation is in the health of its people, holding as much importance as education. Taking good care of our health is a serious responsibility, as in securing our financial stability. Hi there, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Jamaica Magazine. Today we'll look at progress being made to improve the economy through government's economic reform program. Plus, some reflections on the life of the late Agriculture Minister Roger Clark from 1940 to 2014. Stay with us for these, our top news stories of the week, and much more on the other side of this break.
The JIS will be having its first poster competition. And guess what? It's all about our heritage. The theme, We Are Free. All secondary level students are eligible to compete, and the posters can either be digitally designed or illustrated. The rules are simple. First, complete an entry form online from the JIS website. Posters will be judged on your interpretation of the topic, originality, neatness, and presentation. Digital posters should include only the images from a collection accessible on the JIS website. Posters should be no longer than 11 inches by 17 inches. All digital posters should be submitted electronically through a cloud storage service such as Dropbox, SkyDrive, or Google Drive, while illustrations must be taken into the head office or Montego Bay office. Posters should be submitted by Friday, October 31, 2014. Please ensure that you keep a copy of your poster after submission. Yes, there are going to be prizes and surprises for the top 3 students and the top participants. Just in case you need more details to be part of the fun, call JIS at 926-359024, extension 2137, or email heritageposter@jis.gov.jm. Don't delay, get started on your poster now.
The government continues to exercise firm fiscal responsibility, reducing the country's debt burden and taking steps to stimulate sustainable economic growth and a better standard of living for Jamaicans. Much of this is unfolding through its economic reform program, which is progressing successfully.
The Jamaican economy is improving, a clear sign that the policies and the programs being implemented by the government under the economic reform program are bearing fruit.
Real gross domestic product in the Jamaican economy grew by an estimated 1.2% in the April to June 2014 quarter, compared with the corresponding quarter of 2013.
This represents the 4th consecutive quarter of growth. For the April to June 2014 quarter, the agriculture and construction sectors expanded, outweighing declines of 0.6% in mining and quarrying and 0.3% in manufacturing. For the services industries, hotel and restaurants, transport, storage and communication, and wholesale and retail trade were the strongest performers. On top of that, the Executive Board of the IMF confirmed that Jamaica was successful in the first 4 tests administered on the year 1 of the program. And recently, an IMF mission to Jamaica indicated that
the program is on track. Overall, policy implementation under the program remains strong. All quantitative performance targets, indicative targets, and structural benchmarks for end June were met.
That information will be passed on to the IMF's Executive Board, which will assess the findings in September, and if they accept the report, Jamaica will get about $71 million more under the program. This positive development has already paved the way for Jamaica to receive an additional $1.7 billion in grant funding from the European Union (EU) to support the sugar industry. It brings total disbursements since January 2014 from the EU to 4.51 billion Jamaican dollars. There have been other pieces of good news for the Jamaican economy. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin reported a 3.3% decrease in the unemployment rate for the month of April. Occupations in the hotels and restaurant services, transport, storage and communication sectors recorded the most growth. And for inflation, the rate at the end of June 2014 stood at 8%, down from 8.8% in June last year. That's despite a 25% increase in bus fares last year and the depreciation of the Jamaican dollar.
Historically, such a combination of shocks would have been enough to send inflation spiraling into double-digit territory. But that did not happen this time. Instead, the environment for inflation has demonstrated what I would like to characterize as an unprecedented resilience.
Another indication that the fiscal policies being pursued by the government through its economic reform program are reaping results.
I think that the positive results we're seeing with the fiscal management, lower inflation, improved employment, and a smaller current account deficit all are pointing in the same direction, and that direction is an economy that is turning, becoming more efficient and producing some growth. And for that we are quite pleased.
On the tax collection side of things, total tax revenues for the April to June 2014 quarter were $1.5 billion more than the $8 billion target, but GCT and corporate taxes underperformed.
I think we have to bear in mind also that we have, over the past 6 months or so, undergone very far-reaching reforms to the structure of the tax regime that in many respects this still has to work through the system as a whole.
Since January, Tax Administration Jamaica has introduced a number of initiatives as part of the tax reform program, like the mandatory electronic filing of tax returns for some categories of taxpayers, as well as changes to the GCT structure for public sector organizations. Jamaica's net international reserves stood at approximately $2.1 billion at the end of July, reflecting the $800 million the government received through a bond on the international capital markets. The primary balance at the end of June was $18.5 billion, $3 billion more than targeted. So since government's economic reform program is reaping positive results, the plan is to continue the process of economic transformation.
The path we're on is the right path, that we need to focus on it, continue to pay attention to the most vulnerable. But if we shrink from taking the steps we need to take going forward, we will have, in a sense, wasted the effort and the sacrifice that has been contributed by the stakeholders over the last 2 years. The recovery is projected to continue over the next 4 quarters, despite some slowing in the September quarter due to the impact of the drought on agricultural production. The outlook for growth in the full fiscal year 2014-15 remains within the original projections of 1% to 2%.
More emphasis will also be placed on growth, increasing investor confidence and creating jobs.
The government of Jamaica is committed to continuing the extensive program of reforms of tax and public sector financial management, of the public sector modernization, of labor market reforms, all of which are important elements of the program going forward.
Householders, business people, school administrators, protect yourself and your children from the chikungunya virus. Be on the alert. Help control the mosquito population. Chikungunya is a virus transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which breeds in and around your home, workplace, and school. Destroy breeding sites. Empty old tires and all other containers where water can settle. Bore holes in old cans. Cover water drums and garbage cans. Wash flower pots and vases and clean pet dishes regularly. Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Cover your body as much as possible and use mosquito repellent containing DEET. And if you're experiencing symptoms of chikungunya, a sudden high fever, headache, rash, nausea, pain, stiffness, or severe joint pains, see your doctor or go to the nearest health center.
He had a rich upbringing in agriculture that spilled over into his professional and political life. He's the late Honourable Roger Clark, Minister of Agriculture and Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland. As he is laid to rest today, Jamaica Magazine reflects on his life now.
He was a champion of farmers.
He was, to me, one of the best on the platform.
And I will always remember him for his generosity of spirit, but also his contribution to Jamaica.
Roger Harold Clifford Clark will be remembered as one of the most colorful politicians in Jamaica's history, captivating audiences from the political platform of the People's National Party, using simple language to communicate to people from all walks of life. He was a patriot for his party, having been elected Vice President in September 1995 and named Vice President Emeritus in 2003.
What I remember most about Roger is the consummate ease with which he connects with people, whether at what you'd say the top or the bottom. He builds relationships. He was able to bridge the political divide, a man loved by both sides of the political spectrum. He represents the best of what politics should be as a representative and as a leader.
He was an agent of anti-tribalist politics. He broke down all the barriers. And so we had a very comfortable relationship in discussing politics and its developments.
It's no wonder he won 2 local government elections and 6 general elections, giving decades of service to the Jamaican people. Serving as councillor and mayor, Member of Parliament for North East St. Elizabeth, Agriculture State Minister, Local Government and Works Minister, Agriculture and Fisheries Minister, Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland, Opposition Spokesman on Agriculture, and again as Agriculture Minister.
Your task, farmers, is to make us cut that import bill significantly. I know there are challenges, but we will overcome them. And I'm going to be working with you in a significant way to help you to achieve your goals.
And that he did, offering support at all levels of the sector, actively participating in the business of agriculture.
He has attended 18 consecutive Demby shows, even when he was not Minister of Agriculture, when he was opposition spokesperson.
Under his stewardship, the agriculture sector saw steady growth, most recently 12.5% growth in the April to June quarter of 2014. Among his many achievements, the build-out and development of the Agri-Parks initiative.
He talked the talk and walked the walk. Why do I say that? He was a very successful farmer, sugarcane farmer. And I think the last time he told me, I can't remember what he was planting, permanent trees, mahogany, but he's always doing something in agriculture. So when he spoke about agriculture, people had to listen because he could personalize it.
He had a lot of faith in giving us the receipt book system under the pre-larceny program. He has looked at cane production, he has looked at banana production, coffee resuscitation, the livestock industry, poultry. We have been self-sufficient in poultry production because of the policies that has been implemented by the Honourable Roger Clark. The resuscitation of the cocoa industry, the sugar transformation program. He lobbied to get $200 million in the Ministry of Agriculture to deal with Farm Road. Agriculture has been better because of the Honorable Minister Roger Clark, who was with us. We need to ensure that a number of programs and issues that he has earmarked, that work should continue.
Roger Clark was also a family man. Born on June 11, 1940, he grew up in Glen Eiley in Williamsfield, Westmoreland, under the watchful eye of his parents, Winston Clark and Amanda Watson. The agricultural gene was planted in him from an early age, watered and nurtured, no doubt, as he helped his parents and grandparents on the farm in Williamsfield. He graduated from the Manning School and went on to pursue extensive management training at the now-defunct Jamaica Industrial Development Corporation and Harbridge House in the United States. And when it was time to take a bride, Roger Clark wooed and wed Sonia Bryan on August 6, 1977. Their union produced 2 children, Andrew and Dolette. In work, he was focused and driven, but there was another well-known side to the man. Roger Clark was hilarious.
I think he played the part of a stand-up comedian for a short while.
Spreading laughter to his colleagues and almost everyone with whom he came in contact, making light of even the harshest media criticism.
And them cartoon me in every respect. Yesterday one was to the world. Away with chicken back, oxtail to the world. My God. But my brothers and sisters, you know why I'm so happy? And you know why I feel so good? Anywhere in Jamaica I go, the people embrace me and love me.
Besides his great sense of humor, the affable minister knew how to enjoy himself.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there was an omission in the introduction. She failed, or whoever it was, failed to include my dancing abilities and my skills.
Though he was serious about farming and Jamaica's food security, he never failed to infuse laughter into his message.
I drove around to look this morning at some of the fields that have been served by the water. And when you look at the scallion, boy, it's really green for true. But it's real PNP green. Real PNP green. Pretty. Lovely. And that is the kind of production that I want to see happening down here.
His wit was ever present in Parliament, more so when he had occasion to square off with his opposition counterpart.
I will rely upon you for the expertise that you gained when you were in office. But what is interesting, what is interesting is that when you are in opposition, it concentrates the mind wondrously. And I want you to be there to give me continuing advice for many, many years. You are the conceptualizer and you are the advisor. I am the implementer.
Roger Clark, the politician from Westmoreland, an exceptional man who cared about the well-being of the Jamaican people, especially farmers. Gone at age 74, but forever etched in the history of a grateful nation.
Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
Finger-licking jerk chicken, Helcher fish and bami, will run down yam and banana, roast breadfruit, sweet potato pudding. Jamaica food sweet. So let's make a pledge to use more local produce and less foreign goods. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow.
The Program of Advancement through Health and Education PATH offers a wide range of benefits for students. Children on PATH are among the top achievers in the GSET and CSEC examinations each year.
It gives me a sense of stability and it takes some stress off my parents because even though they're working and money might not be enough, it helps them to send me to school.
If your family is struggling, PATH might be the option for you. Just take your birth certificate and valid identification to the Ministry of Labour and Social Security office in your parish. For further information, visit the Minister's website at www.mlss.gov.jm or call 1-888-991-PATH. That is 1-888-991-7284.
Our top news stories of the week are next.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. The late Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Roger Clark, is being laid to rest today. The funeral is being held at the St. George's Church in Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland, while interment is at Williams Field in the parish. The body of Minister Clark arrived in the island Wednesday afternoon from the United States, where he died on August 28. Family, friends, government officials, and ordinary Jamaicans had an opportunity to view his body at the People's National Party headquarters on Thursday and 2 locations in St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland on Friday. Earlier in the week, Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller led Parliament in paying tribute to her late cabinet minister, who she said was an active and lively member of the Parliament since he first entered the House of Representatives in 1991.
A representative of the people who was as sincere as he was humble. A minister of government par excellence and a one-of-a-kind politician.
I will always refer to him as honorable because in his words and deeds, he was just that, an honorable man, a humble man, a gentleman and a true son of the soil.
But most of all, he will be remembered as a man with a huge heart, and one who never feared to share all the love and kindness that that heart gave him.
Roger is the most affable politician that I know. We could always look to him for the injection of humor when things got a little heated in the House.
And he was quick to laugh at himself. In laughing at himself, he didn't hold a grudge. Because I remember, Mr. Speaker, in the 2007 elections, I might have been guilty for a moment of a little bit of youthful exuberance. And I promptly went on a platform and proclaimed that he was big and so-so. When the government changed and we had swearing in, I saw Roger outside there. I said, "Big Rog, how are you, my friend?" He said, "Master, let me not there big and so-so, same way."
In other news, the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, this week indicated that Jamaica's 4 consecutive quarters of growth should not be understated. Recent statistics indicate that the Jamaican economy again expanded by 1.2% in the April to June quarter of this year.
Persons who are impatient for bigger growth numbers, 1.2 is small, 1.4 is small, have to realize that we are dragging this debt along with us. And that sucks up a lot of the revenue that could have been spent doing other stuff.
For the April to July period, government spent $61 billion to service the country's debt.
Tourism Minister Dr. Wickham McNeil was at a recent JIS think tank and announced that the sector registered a 2.4% growth in stopover arrivals for January to July this year when compared to the same period in 2013. He said preliminary figures up to August, meanwhile, were showing a 3.3% growth over last year. July had a record 221,000 stopover arrivals, the largest the country has ever seen in a single month. Minister McNeil said there had been growth from all markets, with significant increase in arrivals from the United Kingdom.
And last year, the year after the Jamaica House, we had 4.7% growth. This year, year to date, year to July, our arrivals are up 14%. And if you take it in its perspective, this was following 4 consecutive years of negative growth year on year.
Cruise arrivals, meanwhile, recorded 7% growth for January to July when compared to the same period last year. Ground has been broken for the construction of a $21 million Portmore Sewerage Improvement Project, which is expected to benefit approximately 200,000 residents in the city. Minister of Water, Land, Environment and Climate Change, Robert Pickersgill, says the project will deliver major benefits.
The greater benefits to be achieved from this project are improved environmental and public health conditions for the citizens of Portmore, as the existing plants are not now routinely performing to the regulatory standards.
The entire project should take 24 months to design and complete. Government has invested $7 million in a locally produced low-cost concrete mix, which is expected to save the country millions in road repairs, improve road safety, and make potholes a thing of the past. The concrete mix is made from local aggregate and waste material from bauxite processing and should remain in position much longer than current materials.
A new low-cost alternative for low-strength applications should therefore make it possible to carry out many more projects. Creating jobs, that's an important aspect of it. This is labor intensive, and to have safer roads, especially in our rural communities.
The product was developed by the International Center for Environmental and Nuclear Sciences under the New Material Road Repair Project. And finally, the Ministries of Education, Agriculture and Health have partnered with the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, the FAO, to roll out an integrated school feeding project. It's modeled off a Brazilian initiative that has proven successful in that South American country. Under the project, 45 Jamaicans will join other participants from St. Lucia, Antigua and Barbuda in a 6-week training course to gain best practices.
The school feeding program provides our country with a platform for creating a win-win situation in which we can address the nutritional needs of our vulnerable school-age population by increasing the production and supply of fresh local fruits and vegetables from our small farmers, and thus providing them in turn with a viable source of income.
And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
And that's it for today's magazine program. But keep the link. Tell us what you thought of the show. Send an email to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm or hit us up on Twitter at JISnews. Also, click on our website, jis.gov.jm, for the latest government information. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson, inviting you to join us again tomorrow for more. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, The Voice.